All right, joining Clint Schweitzer and Noah Groniger here on the Outsiders podcast, one of our favorites, our favorite Chiefs punter of all time, Louie Aguiar is on the line. Louie, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Go ahead.
we can't thank you enough for being here. You had some great years here punting for the Kansas City Chiefs, of course, started the career with the New York Jets, but with the Kansas City Chiefs, you were famous for so many things. Talk about first some of the fake punts that you're famous for, throwing a pass to Kevin Lockett on fourth down. How did that come about, and how did you guys devise those type of plays?
Well, every week, I always look at film and break down film and try and watch what the other punt return team's doing, what kind of schemes they're running. So when I get out there on game day, there's nothing for me to expect that would be different. What I could see if there's like an overload right, overload left, or try and find something. And I did that my whole career. I was looking at video. Then we're watching that video, and I kept watching Seattle. The corners, as they're on our flyers at the 20-yard line, they'd pull off. And then from the 20-yard line, the flyers from all the other teams I was looking at had carte blanche. They had no one blocking them. And I showed that to Coach Stock, and I said, I think we can pull this off. He goes, what do you mean? I said, the returner's going to be at least 40 yards away, from where I'm standing. I go, as soon as the ball snaps, everybody stands up. They can't see if I'm throwing it or kicking it. He goes, oh, yeah, they think they can see you throwing it. So we talked about it. So we did it in practice inside our indoor practice facility. And I kept hitting the dome, the top of the roof, when I threw the football. And so Coach Stock would go, well, he goes, Coach Schottenheimer's fine, I got to call it because he didn't get to see it because he kept hitting the top of the ceiling. So I said, okay, it was a shot in the dark, and then we go to Seattle. First time the ball's on the 36-yard line going in, and, Marty calls, let's do it. I'm all, okay. So when they snap me the ball, I took 2 steps like I was punting, and I'd throw it, really high to make it look like a punt, because I could, at the time, I could throw the ball 75 yards in the air. And so I would hang up and let it come down. So, we tried it in the indoor facility, and then it didn't work, and then we went outside. I think that was like on a Thursday. Then on Friday, we did outside, and I asked Mark Vanover, our returner, and I go, tell me if I'm throwing this or punting it. And he goes, oh, you punted that. I said, no, I did not throw it. So he couldn't tell the difference. And I looked at Coach Stock, I said, they can't tell. So that's why when we went on game day, we did it, and Kevin Lockett did exactly what he was supposed to. Their linebacker saw me throw it, and you see him rush, and he sees me throw it. He turns around, starts running backwards, starts yelling, it's a pass, because I threw it to the right-hand side. The returner went to our left, and he heard it, so he tried to come back and knock the ball down. By that time, Kevin Lockett was already midair, his waist above the returner's head, catches it, goes out to one, next play, 1-yard touchdown run by Marcus Allen. So, it was one of the plays that after that play the next season, the NFL changed the rule that if you throw the ball, there will not be pass interference on a fake punt like that for that reason.
Oh, wow. I wanted to talk about the 1995 playoff game against the Colts and Lynn Elliott missing those 3 field goals. I've heard different kind of stories. I've heard that Mike Stock worked with him to change his kicking style that day because maybe the ground was harder or cold. I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that and that day and the missed field goals.
I was with Lynn the whole day, and I don't ever remember Stock saying anything to him at all. I know Mike was, telling him to compete, to do your job. Pre-game, I went out there, the ground was frozen. I talked to Marcus Allen. He said, let's put on the, AstroTurf cleats, the wet rats that Nike made, so that way the grass wasn't frozen, but the ground underneath it was. So, I put on my AstroTurf shoe, went out, and I did just fine. And Len kept his plant shoe on his squirrel ends, and every time he would plant, he kept sliding. So, when you're sliding as a kicker, you're trying to plant, your body's going forward, so you're going to push the ball, and that's what happened. I tried to talk him into wearing the wet rats, like I was wearing, what the whole team was wearing, but he didn't do it. He felt comfortable, but it did not work out that day.
Well, again, going back to you throwing the football. I mean, I remember a lot of games, particularly in '95, I believe, where you were the emergency quarterback. I mean, talk about how that came about, and also how it was in practice for you. Splitting snaps between taking quarterback snaps and punting. How did that work?
Well, when that was actually 94, 97. I was a backup quarterback. In '94, Montana got hurt on Monday Night Football. He tore the cartilage in his ribs, and they all knew that I played high school football, and I was a quarterback. I was starting quarterback in high school, and then I could throw the ball 75 yards. So I also pitched in high school. I pitched in college. I threw 91 miles an hour. So I actually wanted to be a baseball player. Wanted to pitch. But I got scholarships to play football, and so I stuck with it, and luckily, knock on wood, it worked out for me. So when Montana got hurt, they knew I could throw the football, so they put me in at practice and had me as emergency quarterback just in case, Montana went down, or, 90, and then, we had backups with Matt Blunden was there. So, if something happened, I was there. So I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to do that one time, and then I remember we're out of practice, and I'm taking snaps. They had some plays in for me. Marty talked to his son at the time, well, still a son, but Shotty, he goes, we came over and went over some stuff with Mike McCarthy, and they put some plays in for me to hand the ball off, to throw the ball, and it wasn't that intensive of those offensive game plans are 700 pages, and they knew they weren't going to get that much out of me. They just figured if I go in, hand the ball off or throw the ball deep. So it wasn't that big of a deal. And then Tim Gunhart, I get underneath center of practice, and Timmy turned around and goes, "If we get to you, we're in trouble." I said, "Tim, if you get to me, you didn't do your job." And he turned around to the lineman and goes, "We better do our job. We don't want Louie behind us." They made fun of it, but I was also there. I could throw the ball, and basically they had me throw some outs, and they we had receivers, Blake Dawson and some of the other guys. And he said, just run streaks. I'll hit you. Don't stop running. I'll throw the ball. You'll get there.
Awesome. What was it like playing for legendary coach?
I could throw the ball. What's that?
What was it like playing for the legendary coach Marty Schottenheimer?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really, really did. He was a great coach to me. I would go back and play for him again. He enjoyed what I did. I did a lot for him, and I did a lot for the team. And you could go to his office anytime if you had a problem. You could talk to him. I still remember when my grandmother passed away. I found out after a game we were out in Oakland, and I had to go and talk to him. Say, my grandmother passed away. I need to fly home the next day, and so it was. He was very, very family oriented, and so he was very good to work for, and I really, really appreciate everything that he did for myself, my family, and what he did for a lot of the teammates.
Now, you hear a lot of kickers and punters refer to what they do as a craft. Talk about how different your preparation is during a game week as compared to other players, normal offensive and defensive players.
For my job during the week, I'd be like those guys. I'd go in there and look at film, to see what their kickoff returner was doing when I was kicking off, see what their field goal rusher was doing when I was holding, or if I was kicking field goals. I would also look at the punt return to see what kind of things that I could see. Then I'd also look at their kickoff team to see, okay, if the kicker lines up here, where is he kicking the ball? If he goes straight at the ball, if he loops into it, so I let the returners know. I'd make a shot chart up for the returners. When the punters are punting, okay, if they're going a certain direction, do they like to kick to the short side of the field, or do they like to kick to the right side of the field? So I would chart every punt, every kick, and I'd even do hand and foot times to find out, okay, when they're backed up, are they faster than when they're going inside the 20? Because some guys, when they punt inside the 20, they actually slow down, so that way they can directional punt it, pin it down the corner. And I was, I'd time it and give everybody the information. I'd give it to the coaches, and I noticed at one time, Jeff Eagles, when he would go punt going in, he was at 2.2 seconds, where they want you at 2 seconds to get the ball off hand from the time they snap to the time you punt it. And I pulled up this the stock, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't notice that." So we sat and talked, and the first punt out of the box when we played Seattle that same game, we sent a rush on them because they knew they slowed down 0.2 of a second. 0.2 of a second, 15 yards. That gives Dale Carter, instead of only being 7 yards back there, I mean, he's almost at 10, and he can block the ball. So, and then, they sent a rush on, and he wasn't ready for it, and he ended up, not getting the ball inside the 20. So those are the things that I did during the week was, look at videos, see what the other teams are doing, punt return, kickoff, or even their their field goal rush or punt rush. I mean, I did everything like everybody else did, but I didn't have as much film. On average, we'll have, for a punt, we'll have like 5 punts a game. So I'm looking at 5 punt rushes compared to the offense looking at 60 plays. So I could spend a little more time just on a few plays like that than on Monday I would work out, Tuesday I'd have the day off, on Wednesday I was with the Chiefs. We went over punt. So before practice I punt returners. During practice we do punt rush and punt return. Thursdays when I was kicking off, I'd kick off, and I wasn't kicking off, I would just help out. And then after we got done kicking during practice, we'd actually, myself and Len Elliott or Pete Hanovich, we'd go in the weight room and I'd work out and lift and run on the treadmill and stay in shape. And on Fridays, it was a light workout on, punting. We worked on punting going inside the 20, and then next day we flew out. So, I mean, I did quite a bit, same thing what everybody else did, but no, just not as in-depth like on the video and on the working out, because I wanted to keep my legs a little bit more fresh, because that's what I did. I wouldn't lift heavy, I'd lift light weights, more reps on my legs on Mondays and Wednesdays, but I'd lift heavy upper body on Mondays and Thursdays to keep my upper body, so if I had to make a tackle, I was strong enough to do that.
Going back to 1995, that playoff game with Len Elliott, can you talk about just kind of what transpired after that? I mean, it was pretty brutal in the media with the fans and the city. And can you talk about how Len felt, his psyche, what the team was doing for Len, and just all of that?
I felt very, very bad for Len. I mean, I felt bad for the whole team. I mean, I felt bad for Len. Besides, being a good friend of mine, we hung out, we did everything together for 2 years. But just having him, I can't remember what exactly he said in the paper because it's been so long ago, but I remember a lot of guys were really upset at him. I mean, I even have some players that came up to me and asked me to take him to the side and talk to him. He said some things I wish I remember, but I don't, about what he said. And I just, man, just, this is our job. And, you got to take care of what you do, and everything would come to it. I try to help him out, talk to him a little bit here and there, and, after the season, we talked to a couple teams, and I haven't really talked to him since, and I still feel bad for him, because he was a heck of a kicker. He really was. At the end of the season, he just won the tank, and, try to help him out and get him out of it, and it just didn't get it done.
Now, you were probably as active as any punter in that era. The Chiefs' West Coast offense was kind of designed to run the ball and punt, and you were a key to that. I remember a game, I believe in '94 against the San Diego Chargers, where you punted something like 14 or 15 times. I mean, talk about all the work that you got not only during the week of practice, but during the games, because you guys had to punt a lot.
Yeah, we were playing in San Diego, and having Joe Montana as our quarterback, I didn't expect to kick that much, to punt that much. I saw the year before that, they were one game away from the Super Bowl, and just not being ready for it. But when I'm on the sidelines, anytime we get the ball on first down, I'd go balls in the net. Second down, kick a couple, kick a couple more. Third down, I'd go find the coach, find out what way we're going, right or left. We get first down, I go back to the net. So I remember that same season, we're down in New Orleans, and I only had one punt that game. But I still prepared myself for, I prepare myself anytime we get the ball on first down, I'm going to be punting. So I always go to the net, go through my routine. So whether it be, 11, 12, 13, 14 punts in a game or one punt, I did the exact same thing, same routine. So So when I was out there on the field, I always knew what I was going to do, and I was ready to go. So the only difference between having one punt in a game or 11 to 12 to 14 punts in a game was being on the field. Because I always prepared on the sidelines, so I always had the same amount of warm-ups. The only difference now was we just had less first downs that day. But having a good game, it helped. It also brought my numbers up, so that's always a good thing.
Can you talk about Pete Stoyanovich in that 97 game against the Denver Broncos where he made the 54-yard field goal to win it, and just what that was like, and after that?
Playing, when I was with the Jets, 91, 2, and 3, and Stanovich was with Miami at the time, I saw a lot of video on him. And he was a very solid kicker. And then when we traded for him in '96, it was great to have him. It was great to have him there with our teams. I seen him make a lot of good kicks. I've seen him make kicks against us when I was with the Jets. Some big kicks. And then 1997 in warm-ups, the player that kick was 54 yards in warm-ups. From 50 yards, he was coming up short. It was a colder game, and we go out in right there at the end of the game. Marty, I remember Marty going up to me, he goes, "Can you make this?" He goes, "Yeah, give me the ball." And that's one thing I liked about Pete. Anytime they ask him, "Can you make this?" He goes, "Yeah, not a problem. Give me the ball, I'll make it." We go out there and we line up, and I'm just thinking to myself, he was short from 50. This is 54. It's later in the day. It's a little bit colder. And I was thinking to myself, this kid has ice in his veins. The perfect snap, I put the ball down, he kicked it, and he looked at me, he goes, "Is it good?" Because he couldn't see over the line with Pete on being 5'10". He looked at me, he goes, "Is it good?" I said, "It's not there yet." We're still standing there. He goes, "Is it good?" I said, "It's still not there yet." He looked at it, and I picked him up, he goes, "It's good!"
Wow.
So that was, I looked at video, that was probably the slowest ball I think ever to go from 54 yards to the uprights. The thing was just like a slow, it looked like it was a slow motion. The ball was just, barely moving, just barely rotating. It was so slow, and I just kept looking, get there, and it did. And, it was a great win for us. And, Pete was a hell of a kicker. I thoroughly enjoyed playing with him, and that kick that day was one of the kicks I'll remember forever. Cause it was a great kick, and it was made history because it was the time of year it was. Nowadays, they're gonna try something that late in the summer, that late in the season, down by 2, and 3-4 seconds left on the clock. I don't know, but Pete I knew anytime he stepped up, he was gonna make the kick, and I never had a problem with him. I never had a problem with him. Everything I'm not going to make. He knew he was going to go out there, and every kick he went out there, he knew he was going to make. And, that's why he had a very successful career. I think it was like 82-83% for a career, because that's how great of a kicker he was.
Now, of course, we're talking about 1997, and a couple of weeks later you would meet Denver again, and this time in the playoffs, and unfortunately came away with a loss that day. Rich Gannon was at the helm for the latter part of that season. Elvis Gerbach came back for the playoff game. I'd just like to get your thoughts on what the players thought about, that quarterback controversy that was going on, because Rich Gannon had led you guys into the playoffs, and what were the players thinking as far as who should start that playoff game against Denver?
Rich was Rich is a big quarterback. 9-1 as our starter. Elvis was 4-2. Either way we went, if we would have had Elvis in there till we've gone 9-1, we don't know if she wasn't there. But I know with Rich being in there as our starting quarterback for those 10 games, he was a little more mobile, and he made, I felt like, more plays than Elvis did in some of those games, and I think that's the reason why we won them. I'm good friends with both those guys, and they're both competitors, but, Rich, I felt like, a lot of the players felt like, that, with his mobility, it would help us out there in that game. I talked to a couple of guys after the game from Denver, and they told me that if they get a clean shot on Elvis, don't take it, because they don't want Rich in there because he's more mobile. Shanahan says he's harder to contain. It's hindsight. If we would have had Rich in there till we won, we don't know. Would we have liked to seen it? Yes, but Elvis was our quarterback. They put him in. He hasn't played for 10, 11 weeks. Put him in, and was he ready? I don't know. He wasn't throwing the ball during practice, and it was a tough game for everybody. We wanted to win, and as players, you don't care who's back there. You just want to do your best and do your job, and hopefully the chips fall on your side, and they did that day. And it's something that we've always think about the rest of our lives. Could we have done it if we had Rich in there? We'll never know.
Yeah. What are you up to nowadays? I mean, I know you got this Aguiar kicking camp, and are you still special teams coach for the Waterloo Bulldogs?
Yeah, I mean, I've been running my team camps now for 10 years. I work with high school kids, college kids, pros kids, all levels. I have a pro camp that I run every year with myself and Michael Husted. Also, he played 9 years in the NFL as a kicker. He actually played for Kansas City 1 year. We run a pro camp. We get kids into the NFL. We have a great time doing it. Right now, we have quite a few kids in the NFL that we coach that are either punting, kicking, or long snap in the NFL. Right now, we just had a rookie who made it this year. A long snapper with the Indianapolis Colts, Matt Overton. I worked with Tanner Pern with the Jets. Garrison Sanborn with Buffalo Bills. And we got the kicker out in Carolina. The kid from, I'm trying to think of his name, kid from UCLA was at the Chiefs drafted a few years ago.
Medlock, yeah.
Yeah, just a Medlock. He's worked with us. So we've worked with quite a few of these guys that make an NFL. The New York Jets brought me in this last summer to do a minority internship with the special teams. I did that this last summer a few months ago. That was a blast. I did it with the Cleveland Browns last year. I am no longer coaching with the Waterloo Bulldogs. I am actually now got a full-time job teaching high school over in Missouri because I live in Illinois. I'm over at Fox High School. It's where I teach, and I also coach football over at Seckman High School. It's a crosstown rival. And I've been over there. This is my third season over there coaching special teams and D-line, and just having a blast. I've been coaching high school football now for 10 years and really enjoying it. At some point where I like to get up to the next level and coach in the NFL, yeah, I really would. I enjoy, coaching special teams, working with the punters and kickers. That's why these teams brought me in these last couple of years, to work with the punters and kickers. I talk to them about special teams, and, I really enjoy what I do.
Well, Louie, I can't tell you enough. We're about out of time here, but you have been great to come on today. We definitely look forward to getting back with you and maybe talking about the current Chiefs, current state of the NFL, and stuff like that next time. But we wish you luck and really hope we can have you back on, and we really appreciate it, my man.
Hey, you got my number. You got to get a hold of me. I'll be more than glad to go on any time and talk with you guys and talk Chiefs football. I thoroughly enjoy it, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come talk to me.
Oh, thanks a lot, Louie. Have a great one.
All right, you too, guys. Thanks again.
All right, bye.